Thank you, wonderful. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really having a great time with all these stories. You guys are really, you got tales to tell, tales to sit upon in the seats, all kinds of good things. Tales, tales, tales. I'm supposed to tell another one. I'm sorry about that, but I am. Now this one is the opposite. The first one with good old Lucky, who's probably still in my family moved away 7 years later, he's probably still there, but this one, maybe, you know, you're all young and can help me understand this. This one is not supernatural. This is just falls into the category of odd and quirky, but it really happened. Okay, I don't know why, but I seem to be one of these people that get strange people are just kind of attracted to me. I mean, no offense, my late husband, I didn't mean that. But, strange people are just attracted to me in a way. For example, when I was 17, had my summer job downtown, and any of you who are Chicagoans, or wait, you're all temporary Chicagoans if you're here at DePaul. You guys know the caramel corn shops in the summer? Yeah, I'm seeing some heads, the bobbleheads going up and down. Oh yeah. Caramel corn shops, they open those doors, and it's like, oh my God, the scent. If you had just eaten a feast, 8 courses, you want caramel corn. It is so, just lures you in. And the summer I was 17, I remember some bunch of friends and I were heading home and heading toward the old Metro, and you know, it kind of had you really good, kind of lured us over into the caramel corn shop. And it was always packed. If you go in, even now, if you go in the summer, sometimes lines are outside. So we were all in line, and the caramel corn people were very efficient because they were like tons of folks. The ones in front are putting stuff in bags, and the ones in back are taking your money, and it's all great. And there was one young man, about your ages, who was just like stirring the caramel corn. Now, all the other people were either smiling or at least benign, but he was just kind of staring at the caramel corn, stirring it, and you know, I said, okay, I'm a kid too. I love it. I was in the mailroom, you know, right here. But then, he didn't seem to be paying attention to anyone, but then he glanced up and saw me. And then he looked down. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And I moved up in line, talking with my friends. And then he looked over at me again. And then he looked around and reached into his pocket and pulled out a piece of paper. And I thought, okay, this kid's giving me his phone number, this is creepy. But then he came over, waited till his boss, one was at the register and the other was over at the doing something with the caramel corn, and he just handed it to me very sharply. And I took it, and it was a religious tract. And it said, can you smell the sulfur? The fires of hell, they're around you. And I looked, and he'd gone back to stirring the caramel corn. And I looked, he didn't give one to my friends, he didn't give one to anybody else, just me. I was afraid to throw it away. So I put it in my pocket, and I bought my caramel corn, which, by the way, I lost all taste for, and then I looked back, and he refused to look at me. All right, well now, that's the kind of thing that I've experienced in my, I've been on this planet a few years older than, you know, a few years more than you guys, just a few. You're supposed to say, no, Professor Bean, we didn't think so. This one is the one, though, that is similar to that I'll just never understand, and maybe you can explain it to me. Okay, so fast forward. I'm now in my 20s, finished with college, I'm working my way through grad school, and I'm one of my best friends, and I'm working in an engineering firm. I was a receptionist, and one of my best friends was also named Joyce, but Joyce was older than I. I was in my 20s and still living at home and saving up for my first apartment and saving up for grad school and all this good stuff. Joyce was married, and both of us on Fridays, we loved to get a little stuff for our families from Hyman's Bakery. Now, you guys probably can get Hyman's baked goods. There used to be Hyman's bakeries all over Chicago. And I've been going there for the whole summer. Nice people again, and you know, the people were there. And on Fridays, Joyce would get her husband a piece of their cake. He loved that. I would get my mom and dad a Danish pastry. My sister loved their cherry pie. And my kid brother loved their cookies. They had the butter cookies that I'm getting hungry just thinking of. So again, it was one of those benign afternoons. It was our lunch hour, and Joyce and I had gone in, and we were laughing and talking, all kinds of people in line. And I noticed the lady who was who was behind the counter, who was actually packing the items. I hadn't recognized her from before. You know, who cares? Tall lady with a, now I think of the bun, her hair kind of looked like a cinnamon bun. But she was, you know, very efficient, very efficient. She didn't smile, but she didn't look unhappy. So, you know, what did I care? So we get up to the first thing, and I said, "Hi, how are you?" She said, just looked at me. She did that to everyone, though. And I said, "Well, now, may I have 2 of your Danish pastries?" She nods and very efficiently puts them in a bag. And I said, "Oh, and may I have a slice of the cherry pie?" She nods, puts it in a bag. I said, "And I'll take a 1/4 pound of the cookies." She said, "No, for you, no cookies." I said, "I'm sorry, for you, no cookies." I said, "Well, what do you mean? I'd like a 1/4 pound of cookies." And she just stared at me. "For you, no cookies." In that accent. And I'm like, "Well, why won't you sell me cookies? Can she buy cookies?" I pointed to my friend Joyce. And she said, "Yes." And then it was like the 70s, and there were still like racial dynamics, and I'm, African American, and so I looked, and there was an African American guy in the line. I thought, well, maybe she doesn't want to sell cookies to black people because we're dangerous with cookies. And I said, oh, no. And I said, well, can he buy cookies? She said, "Yes." I said, "Well, I want a 1/4 pound of cookies." "For you, no cookies." I said, "Well, you're letting me buy my pastries." She said, "Yes." And I said, "Can I buy more things?" She said, "Yes." "Why can't I have my cookies?" By then, I'm laughing hysterically. I'm like, well, I just don't understand. My friend Joyce is laughing hysterically. I know you're thinking, why didn't you go to the manager? Well, that would have been my first thought, but I mean, it was just so incongruous. So I said, all right, I gotta step out of line and holding up all these other people. I'll get back in line, and I'll find out why this woman won't sell me cookies. I mean, that's something that you young people need to understand. You have to grab the bull by the horns. And, people don't sell you cookies. Don't you take it. That's what my generation fought for, man. So you can buy all the cookies you want, all right? That was what the 60s was all about, man. That was my huge afro the size of Cleveland. No, it was so you could buy cookies. So don't you ever let anyone stop you. That means a lot. So I went back in line. By then, my friend Joyce is laughing hysterically. I'm like, "Don't laugh, you got your husband's stuff." And I was, by the time I got within 2 people of this lady, I started laughing again. I just couldn't ask her why she wouldn't buy cookies. So I said, all right, we don't want to hold anyone up. It's Friday, we've got to get back to work. I'll come in on Monday, talk to the manager, whom I know, and we'll take it from there. So Monday comes around, and without Joyce, I came back in, and I reached, contacted the manager. I said, "What's up?" And I explained, and he was like, "Joyce, I don't know. I mean, you're welcome to buy all the cookies you want." I said, "Well, I'm glad to hear that." And I said, "Well, can we talk to this lady?" I said, "Bob, I just found it too funny the last time." He said, "Well, I'd like to, but she was a temp, and, she's not working here anymore." But he said, "Please, feel free to buy cookies galore." So I never found out why I couldn't buy the cookies. I did buy I told my brother, who's now married with kids of his own, I said, "I hope you appreciate what I went through." But I will, till the day I die, wonder why. For me, no cookies. So, end of story on that.